works by providing you the financial education you seek, by assisting you in making the right retirement or educational decisions that are best for you and your family, and by helping you take the necessary steps in establishing and meeting your financial goals. Please call us today and schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. The number, 727-422-7761.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Warner.
Hi, and welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity. My name's Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And my guest today is a person I've known for a long time, since we were kids, who's had kind of a rough patch in life, I want to say lightly, has gone through a lot. Used alcohol to probably self-medicate from childhood trauma and other things that were not dealt with, especially back in the day, that it wasn't so welcoming to go to a therapist to seek mental health. There's a stigma on it. And even for myself, when I lost my mom, my dad was like, you don't need help. You're not crazy. Yeah. And I had found her dead. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like going through a really hard time. And even then, for him to be like, no, but he was military, Vietnam War veteran, everything, the stigma on that with other people as well. So anyway, before we went to break, we were talking about how my guest, and I want to welcome back Patrick Montoya.
Hello.
He's also an executive assistant from Moments of Clarity team, helping really reach out and help others and spread the message, and with the counseling center as well. We'll get to that. But before the break, we were talking about incarceration. He had, and even if, alcohol wasn't involved, it's just the mistakes we make, the choices we make that lead us to bad decisions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And had assaulted a couple of police officers and ended up where they sentenced him to 1 to 15 years in prison, right?
Yeah, in prison.
In Utah.
In Utah.
So let's pick up where we left off. So
once that kind of sank in, I mean, for the first 3 months, I was stuck in county, and I was in max, which is you only get out 1 hour a day, and there's no sunlight.
That's what we're about to go through with the COVID virus or something.
That's the thing. Is like
you're going to adjust well.
Yeah. So I mean, I was already stocking up on toilet paper because we had to do that when we were locked up. So it was just a normal habit. And
Silver lining.
Yeah. Hey, I was getting prepared for something. So. So it was, being stuck in. I was in there with a guy that killed a cop, and I was in there, and it was a high profile case, and he was asking me for advice, and I was thinking, that's when I guess things started being real serious.
Right.
Like I was like, this isn't just like you got a DUI and you're just a minimum. I mean, I was like.
Locked up with people in there for murder.
Yeah.
And you realized, oh my goodness, this is the population that they're putting me with.
Yeah, this isn't a joke anymore. Like this is going to be a reality. And it was that 3 months was rough because you get 1 hour out to either take a shower or watch TV, and then you're pretty much stuck in your cell. And we had no books, no anything.
With
really.
this dude too that you're like locked in there with, right?
But he, at the
Luckily,
end of it,
he was nice.
He was just. I mean, had drug issues, and he told me the story. But it was sad too at the same time, because his daughter was like 13 at the time, and she would save up her allowance and send it in, put it on his book
for canteen or something. What do you call it?
So
that's sweet, actually.
It was. I mean, but he was at a point where he's like, "What do you think I should do? Should I go ahead and take the deal?" And I just was like, "Look, man, I don't know if you want to put everybody's family back through that." And I was like, "You got to stay alive at least till your daughters are in a better situation." And
right.
So he ended up taking the plea, so he didn't have to go to court and put all the family through that. But anyway, so. We're all of a sudden.
But you never know who you're going to get stuck with or cellmate.
And that's a big issue. And someone was looking over me, because the whole time I was in there for almost 4.5 years.
Well, you were in county first.
Yeah,
and
so
then...
I went to county. So then finally, they're like take you to prison, and going into Draper, it's like an old prison. And so, walking through those gates, and then all the barbed wire and fences, and
it's scary.
Yeah,
I've worked in places like that, and even as a staff member, I was a psychological specialist at maximum risk correctional facility, but for juveniles, but still.
Yeah, you know how it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, you're trapped in there, and luckily for us that worked there, we got to leave at the end of the day. But on a creep scale of 1 to 10, it's a 12 usually. Yeah,
and I mean, I still felt like bad for the people that worked there, because I was like, man, this is your job. You got to like come to prison. You know what I mean? Like willingly. Mm-hmm. So, but
it's good experience for us though.
Yeah, no, it is.
And we feel like we're doing a job to help.
Yeah. So we were stuck in this like little room, and we're all like on the ground sleeping. It was just dirty, and man, I just the guy's checking me in, and he's the cop's like, oh, it's 7-Eleven, it's Slurpee Day, and I remember that date.
When you say it's dirty, you come from upper middle class. Like you come from a very good family, so it's a culture shock. I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. But prior to that, I mean, there was some. I stayed at a what's it called, a homeless shelter, because I got kicked out of the house. I had nowhere to go, and
your family had enough.
Yeah, and so I guess it started showing me like how much I haven't, like the moments of clarity that you always talk about. When I look back, it's just like it was like things start saying, look how much you have more than some of these people that are struggling. You need to quit being such a wuss and get, and start
feeling invincible.
Yeah,
and feeling arrogant, like that doesn't happen to people like you. Or something like that.
You know what? That's true, because there was a point when I was younger in high school, I thought that,
So, or that your family would always bail you out or get you out of trouble or whatever.
They did for a long time, and then I'm glad my mom finally was just like, you're on your own on this one.
They were tired of enabling you.
Yeah, I wasn't completely on my own, but she wasn't going to help with like the judge, or the lawyer and all that stuff. It was just, you need to deal with this, and I had to just grow up. I started growing up finally, and I was like 35 or whatever I was at the time. But the thing is when I'm finally get into prison, we're talking gangbangers. It's people
intimidating.
Yeah, I thought I was, semi-tough guy until there, and then you're like, all right, man, I ain't nothing now. People coming up to me asking me if I'm affiliated with any gangs, and I didn't know, so I just was like, I'm independent, and that was just, you start thinking, man, this is like I completely, from all the things I had to like this, this is how it's. I was like, I hope this doesn't end this way. But
you feel like that was rock bottom for you at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And when they give you this paper to sign, and it's like, what do you want your body to be done with if you die in here? And I was like, man, I might not live. I might not come out of prison alive,
They're a cardboard box.
Yeah, so they make you fill out a thing saying, you want your body to go here and there. And I was like, man, I might not live, through this.
Yeah.
And the other part is 1 to 15 in Utah is like, you don't know how much time you have. It could be either 1 year or it could be all the way up to 15. And I didn't know that for like 3 years, because the first time I went to see the parole board, they would just were like, all right, we'll see you in a few years. And I had no idea. There wasn't like a thing in my head that I can say, okay, I'm going to be out in 5 years or 6 years or whatever. It was just undetermined. So I could have been, my whole thought was like,
you could be there right now.
Yeah,
still.
And I could.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some time hanging over my head that I'm trying to, deal with. But, I guess you start realizing too, like some of my cellmates came from some broken homes, and you hear their stories, and I'm just like, man, and that's a tough go with how people had to make it through this, and you eventually find a rhythm in there. I guess luckily the facility I went down to was in Gunnison, which is down in central Utah, and they have programs there and schooling, so you can stay busy, and they have a lot of sporting tournaments, and so you start to finally find some kind of normalcy. I remember one time, like, one of the biggest things was we were playing a kickball tournament of all things. Like, that was the last thing I think I was going to be doing in prison. And
kickball,
kickball, yeah. But I just remember pausing for a second, and we were running around like kids, and I just was like, well, at least for this moment, for this second, we felt normal. Like we didn't realize we were in prison. And
did you have a name for your team?
Oh, shoot. I'm sure we did. I mean, you always had to put some.
It's almost like that Adam Sandler movie, The Long Run.
Yeah. That's, it's funny because, like, we had basketball tournaments, volleyball tournaments, but the basketball is always getting a little sketchy because we'd end up people getting fights. So I was like, I'm not doing that. But, you try to
people
find
take
some
it too
normalcy.
seriously.
Yeah. And everybody thinks they're like Kobe
Dodgeball
Bryant.
would be fun.
Yes, shoot.
Just kidding.
I would never.
Totally kidding. I've never liked dodgeball, but against some of those people that are probably in there, I would not want to get pegged with a ball from someone.
Well, it's just funny because, like, one wrong word and the next thing you know, someone's in a fight. It's just...
It's silly of, like, what words you can't say. You were saying, like, it's punk.
Yeah,
and there's some you can't say lame. You can't say the B word.
That's like instant fighting, So I mean, you really got to watch.
Some of
what
us,
you
it's
say.
just like that's lame.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get, it's like you don't even realize it. You don't even mean it.
And there's all these unspoken rules that you have to abide by. You couldn't pass gas in front of people because I mean these are like things that
you can't fart.
You can't. You have to be in your room and like you
what
can't.
if you can't help it?
Well, you better move out of the way because you seriously can get hurt that way. We were extra clean, like we were always wiping everything down. You had to be clean. You had to have good hygiene. There's just, you had to watch how you talk to people. You couldn't reach over people to eat because that was disrespect. It was like a whole nother world I was having to
Plus,
adjust
a lot
to.
of them, on a mental health aspect, were probably traumatized themselves and anger issues and all that stuff that hadn't been dealt with.
Oh, you don't even know.
And so there's a lot of triggers that you probably weren't even aware of because they didn't even realize they're triggers from PTSD or whatever, that they've been in there.
And I mean, like you said, that's a big issue in there is mental health. I mean, and the worst thing is when you say you have a mental health issue, if they deem it bad enough, man, they'll like strip you of your clothes and throw you in a
suicide watch.
And so, I mean, no one wants to say anything because you don't want to get everything taken away from you and sitting in a cell by yourself.
Some people called it the turtle suit.
The turtle suit, and they
the green smock.
They put the mask over your face, the spit mask, and I mean, I seen some things.
Like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I mean, I seen this guy, like you said, he got triggered when they started doing all that, and he was just saying some stuff about trying to save his mom, and it was
in jail. They strip you from all your clothes. They give you a paper gown, and you're in a glass cell and completely naked.
Yeah, so they can see you, observe you, and it was an eye opener. I'll just tell you that. I just feel for those people. I really do. I mean, I think that's what changed some of my thinking too. As I just was like, man, because I asked some of these people what their stories were, so I could try to understand where they're coming from. So, it was a good and bad thing, in one, just the yin and the yang. So,
I'm going to welcome callers to call in 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. I know you got a lot of friends watching and supporting you.
Thank you.
Welcome
guys.
to call in and just give props or even share something that you can relate to. 866-826-1340. And you're welcome to say hi. I know that, Pat, it takes a lot of courage And I know that when we reconnected last year, you barely wanted to be on social media because of the guilt and the shame, and you didn't want to tell everybody from high school where you've been and everything like that, or your other friends, or from college.
Yes.
And you just happened to reach out or make a snide comment like usual on something, because I